Okay, welcome everyone to the Pro Trader Room Plus. We're here for the Oil Open and the U.S. Market Open. My name is Lee Goldstein, the Trading Director at 10 Minute Trades. Please remember, all the trades we discuss are for educational purposes. Okay, good morning. And like I said in my email, you should not be trading unless you are pretty experienced. Understand that these markets are not normal, low liquidity, lots of sideways, lots of strange moves, not normal. Um, so you just got to keep all that in mind. Risk is definitely higher in these kind of markets. Generally, I like to think that the opens will be opens. Most of the time they are. But oil is an exception, can be an exception. So I'm going to trade the two market open trades and we'll see what else is presented. But, I'm not going to go crazy. I'm not going to trade lots of extra contracts. I'm not going to do anything silly, obviously. I'm still testing the magnet. Getting close, getting close. We're almost at New Year's. So it is a shame, but unfortunately the programmer went away for 6 days. 6 days where I couldn't do anything because there was a problem. So can be very frustrating testing software, and it's the holidays. You can only do so much. Can only do so much. And he did something that if I forget to fix it, it causes every trade to stop out. So it has to do with a default setting. So I think I'll probably remember to make the change now. Anyway, all right, I don't really have any magnets set up at the moment. I'm just putting one on getting one ready in case I want to use it. I'm watching gold at the moment, but I'm going to have to change over to oil. We are here really for the oil open. That's the reason we're here at the moment. So I'm going to have to change over to oil. Gold dropped I didn't count the ticks. Langford tells me it dropped like $30 a little bit ago, not that long ago. All right, so I have been watching gold. It's down $78 from last evening. And then I watched the YM in the morning because we do YM magnets on the US Open along with our MNQ. So I'm not really going to trade a gold magnet at the moment, so I don't really need that. Let's put our oil chart up. So oil should be 02. We should be on February. Oil is very bullish this morning. Up over $1.30 at the moment. Looking at oil on a 10-minute chart. 3 in the morning, oil went crazy. You could see it had quite the move. It had made a new high. Then it pulled back a little bit to the VWAP. Didn't even get to the VWAP. And then it went up 77 ticks plus. Then over the next couple of hours, it went up even more. So it looks like it went up $1 at least. That's significant. 93 ticks. So obviously oil has some risk because you don't know what's going to happen. We don't know. Is it going to reverse now at the highs? I think the odds are good. It will reverse from these highs. The odds are good because just looking at the kind of market pattern we have here generally, it eventually has to start reversing. It just does. It gives up some of that profit. And it really, at 5 a.m., it did give a reversal signal. It was a little bit 2 minutes after, 20 minutes after, it looks like. But there was a 10-minute squeeze. Now, you can use a squeeze on any time frame chart for what it's worth. There's certain time frames it's particularly good on. 5-minute squeezes people love. I love the minute and the 30-second. Those are my favorite. You always have to remember right now, until the new magnet is out, make sure your squeeze indicator is configured for momentum length 17 and a squeeze length of 20. 17 on momentum. Squeeze length of 20 is what we like to use. So the first thing I'm going to do is put a reverse continue on my oil chart. And we are streaming this morning. And I just want to give everyone a heads up. We probably will not have a FOMC minutes trade room. We've got like 2 years of data on that report and no moves. Every now and then it moves, but it's not worth having a trade room. So I'm going to cancel that one. We did some extra testing yesterday and there's nothing. There's just no trade. There's no moves generally. Sometimes you can get a sometimes, but it's just not worth the effort. And especially this week, it's going to be even stranger, most probably. Now, the only thing that can happen is something might get said in the minutes that's unexpected, and then you get a move. But you can't predict that. Nobody knows that something like that will happen. So, looking at 2 years of data, occasionally it happens. But this coming year, I am going to avoid trades that are not worth taking. It doesn't mean there's going to be a shortage of trade rooms. Trust me, there's never a shortage of trade rooms. But I don't want to have a lot of extraneous, meaningless rooms, reports that for years haven't been working. It's time to let some of them go for real. Anyway, first things first, oil CL space 02-26, putting up a reverse continuation, clicking news trader, changing the breakout trade to a reverse continuation. One position, 20 tick target, 20 tick stop. I don't expect to take that trade. It's a discretionary setup. I'm going to label it. I label every trade CL reverse continue, right? Apply it. Okay. Don't forget on connections to connect all your data. Now I'm going to go back and choose the account I'm going to trade it on. So I'm still going to trade the oil open on my funded oil open account. I recognize there's higher risk today, but I'm just trading that report, that event, the way I always trade it. I'm not trying to outthink the market. All right. In my heart of hearts, I think short is the best direction for that event this morning, but we may get a pullback before the market opens. We'll see. We shall see. And you're allowed to make any decision you want. So my reverse continuation is in the same account because you can't be switching around charts and have different accounts during an event. You can't have two setups, two different accounts on the same chart, under the same chart, because you don't have time to swap charts. You get confused. It doesn't work. If you're going to do a reverse continuation, it should be on the same account your main trade is on. So you have two setups, one account. And that's why you don't trade them at the same time either. You can't trade two setups on the same instrument simultaneously. They will interfere with each other. Now our oil open trade, oil has pulled back a little bit from the high, not all that much, 15 ticks. A little bit more, 19, 18, no, 16, 16. Then we're going to set up our range trade. Right click, click strategies, double click news trader, and I'm going to load my template. But if you don't have a template, change your breakout to a range trade. Go down to range trade in the inputs, make the range start time 8:59. I'm on Eastern time. And then we're doing one tick above the range, one tick below the range. Show the range graphics on chart is checked. That draws the range so you see it. And then I'm going to label it oil open range. All right. Then you go up to the range end time, and it's 9:00:40. And I do position 1 is a 1, position 2 is a 1. And that means one position, one contract for each position, target of 8 on target 1, and a target of 20 on target 2, and a stop of 15. Target 1 stop move. If it hits my first target, BE -4, break even -4. And that is my oil open setup. Choose the account you're trading it in. Make sure you have a label, oil open range. One more time, going over the whole setup. It's a range trade. End at 9:00:40. Position 1 is a 1. Position 2 is a 1. That's one contract for each position. Target of 8. Target 1. Target 2 is a target of 20. Target 1 stop move is BE -4. 15 ticks on the stop. Scroll down, starting the range at 8:59. One tick above the range, one tick below the range. That just means that's where the order will appear after the time ends for the calculation of the range. One tick above the range is our long, one tick below the range is our short order. And then our stop is 15 ticks. Show the range graphics on the chart. If you don't check show the range graphics on the chart, the trade will calculate and work fine. You just won't see the range, and it could be very confusing if that happens. Now I am going to load my template because I want to change the date on my template. So I go template and load. If you wanted to save your template, you would have gone to template and then just type save and give the template a name. Oil open range, right? Whatever you want to name it. My template is oil new open range. I'm going to right click it and rename it because we're now 12/29 on the date. When I load it, it resaves it and it just loads in the exact setup we just entered in. All right, and then I'm going to apply it and OK it. Make sure my chart trader is on the correct account, number 55. It's a funded prop account. And we're going to turn the trade on by enabling it in the control center. And YM, putting a reverse continue on my YM chart. I want to take a quick look at gold, see what TJ is talking about. 0226 on gold. Gold made another new low. I would be afraid. I'm not embarrassed to use the afraid word. I'd be afraid to take an aftershock reversal on this downward move, but it still could work. But that's pretty heavy pressure to the downside. Volume at 842-ish really got a burst there on the low. Now, there will be a reversal signal on gold, and there it is. Now, you have to wait for it to close, but that is a potential reverse signal. It's not a very high risk trade because you're going to put your stop 10 ticks below the low. If it makes another new low, you get stopped out and you try it again. But see how the bar didn't close? I would not take the trade until the candle closes. I would not use the signal as a valid signal until the bar closes. And it didn't close. And in the new software, you could say, well, give me 2 bars before you generate a signal, or give me 3 bars before you generate a signal. All right, gold. Gold is fascinating to me. You can definitely trade micro gold if you want to practice using the magnet software and not blow up your account so easily. It's still $1 a tick on micro gold. Good morning, Chantal. And let's go back to the YM. Now you have a real aftershock reversal signal. The first bar closed. You've got upward momentum, change in color. It's definitely got risk because of such a downward move in gold. You're over $112 down. That's the biggest drop I can remember. We've had lots of 80s, and I don't remember too many over 100 over the past couple of months. That's pretty significant. And it's not really accompanied by any news. That's what's quite interesting. So I'm still going to look at the YM in preparation of the Open 0326. I remember the days where the indexes in gold moved in opposite directions. Right now, they're not moving in opposite directions. They're moving in a similar direction. Good morning there, RD. Uh, what's our Bitcoin future? What's the one we always look at? Why I'm putting a reverse continue on the chart. Strategy, news trader, change breakout to reverse continue. Just putting one position this morning, a 40 target, 35 target, 35 stop, 35 stop. Um, MBT, BTC, there's a couple. 35 and 35, strictly just a discretionary YM reverse continue. Not really jumping into anything at the moment in terms of taking a trade. I have a brand new prop account. I'm going to use that this morning. Reverse continue, 35 target, 35 stop, completely discretionary trade. All you need is a position, a target, and a stop. Label the trade, YM reverse continue. Choose an account, apply it, okay it, and then make sure your chart trader is on the same account. And then right now I don't see any magnet. When you're making lows like this is not magnet. It's already done the magnets. Watching oil to see, I'd much rather see oil go down more. YM, it's just really, really difficult to find. The only there is an interesting magnet. You got a triple test of the PP. So that would be a custom magnet for you all out there. And you'd type in 48985. 48985. And that would be where your order entry would be. And then I would move the order entry down, ballpark, probably 15 ticks or so. Maybe above all of this consolidation in the area of 48940. So let's say for argument's sake, you're looking for a test. Let me put the magnet on. Let me turn off my trailing, which will ruin my trade. Now for you all, you're going to choose custom level, okay? And you're going to type in the level where you want your order entry to be. The easiest thing to do, in this case, you could type in 48960. 48960 on a 30-second chart. That's where your order entry. That's not a terrible entry. You could get a test of the PP. You could get a test of the VWAP. If the market decides to go up, those are areas that might get tested. It does have to go up 100 ticks. I'm pretty sure it's like 100 ticks away from there. I have a different way I can do it because the new software has a VWAP test built in. I would probably, that's what I would use in this case. I'd use a VWAP test built in. And I'm just trading. The percent proximity doesn't matter. You're going to move your order anyway. Just remember that. Percent proximity just doesn't matter anymore. It just puts your order on the chart close to the magnet or further away from it. I just use it on 3. Position size 1 is a 1. I'm only trading one position on this. And my target is -3. What does that mean? It means before it gets to the area that we're testing, it will exit. 3 ticks before it gets there. So let's see what it looks like if we turn this on. All right. I'm going to do it as a VWAP test. And I can do it all from the new control panel. Now, hang on a second. Wait 1 minute. Don't forget, change your magnet enabled to custom level. Okay, now mine is on a custom level. Position 1 is a 1, and I'm targeting the VWAP. So I can choose target type VWAP. All right, I'm targeting the VWAP. I don't think we're going to get there, so I'm targeting the VWAP, 35 stop, 1 position. The target that's being used is target 1 tick offset. When you in the new version, when you target a specific level, it uses the offset. That's the target. Ignores target 1 tick. Let's trade on that same account we were using on the reverse continue. And then when I enable it, I'm going to get an order line, and I'm going to put my order line where I want to get filled. So I want to get filled around 63-ish, somewhere in there, above all this consolidation, after we get a nice move up, okay? And if I want it to be automatic on the fill, I can press the magnet entry button and make it automatic by pressing the button. It says auto mode, and if price goes up there, it'll fill me long. What you also can do is turn off the short side by pressing the control panel, turn off the short button. Now, what's interesting is it's moved up almost enough off the low of the day to make a high of day, low of day magnet viable. Because think about it, we're now 905, 73, 27, 32 ticks off the high of day, low of day. That's not too terrible for a high of day, low of day magnet. So I might wind up changing it. What's nice about the new version is I can change it using the control panel. I think. So I turn off the auto, right? Turn my long and short both back on. And now, if I change my
US effective Fed
custom
funds
level
rate 3.64%, 26th of December.
to a high of day, low of day, I now have a different magnet that I'm trading. Watch. It puts my orders on. So if I want to get filled here, I'd, I'd want to get filled below that pivot or at that pivot. You can't see it, but it's S1. And then I don't think we're getting anywhere near the high of day, but I'll put an order up there. So if the price goes back down, now our oil range is drawing, okay? That's what you're seeing. Oil just opened to the downside. That's what I thought was going to happen. Now, the YM, if you want the trade to be automatic, I think the YM is going to go test that low again. So I'll put it on automatic for a one contract risk on a brand new prop account that, there's no giant
Order submitted.
commitment to it one way or the other yet. There's our orders for the oil entry. Maybe oil's going to go back and test the high. That's what you don't know. I think we're going to get a short fill. And like I said, I'm going to let it trade.
Order submitted.
My life is not going to end if it doesn't work. Everybody knows these are not trading days. This is just, for me, it's testing the software and just being a nut. The YM filled and did not follow through yet. Okay, so we'll see if it follows through to the downside. Oil did not fill. Now look, if you don't like the price action, you don't have to trade it. You can wait till next Monday, right? You don't have to trade today. Now the YM, it might have been smarter to wait till we're close to 9:30 before we put a trade on. I'd be perfectly happy if oil gave us target one. If it fills short,
Order
gives us
submitted.
8 ticks, hits target one, that would be fine. I might be aggressive if it starts moving close to the target. I might take it early. So right now it's moving down. All we need is one more tick, 2 ticks, 3 ticks, not a lot. Let's get a little push. We don't need a lot here. Just watching. Just watching. YM is a couple of ticks from hitting our target. One tick from the target now.
Order filled.
YM magnet worked very, very nicely. Perfect setup.
Order
All right.
filled.
Oil hit the first target. I'm moving my stop to break even plus a tick. Now, if it goes up, I cannot lose. Cannot lose. So, it tries to scare you. It goes one tick away from the target, and then it starts going back up, and you're thinking to yourself, oh, I should have moved. I'm trailing tick for tick. I'm expanding my target to the VWAP, and I'll trail it down a little bit. We're just getting a normal pullback from a very bullish move. It could still continue up. You don't know. But why not take advantage of this pullback, right? But the one thing you have to be happy about, regardless of what happens now, is that you tried to be patient and you let it hit your first target. It was only an 8-tick
Order
target.
filled.
So it took me out because that's the way I wanted to trade it. I was aggressive with my stop because it's very bullish. So it gave me my first target. It gave me a target and a half. It gave me a target and a half. It may go and test the VWAP, but it's doing it without me this morning. It is the way it is. I'm done with oil, turning off both my setups, the reversal that I didn't use and the range trade, removing them, and I'm putting my chart on the MNQ for my market open. All right. So now we have two winners in a row. We had a small winner on a little baby magnet on the YM. Worked perfectly. My favorite, I'll say this over and over, if I was only allowed to trade one magnet ever, it would be high of day, low of day. That's the most important magnet. It gives the best signals. It gives the best reversal signals. Um, and you can really just trade high of day, lows of day, and not pay attention to any other magnets, and you could have a business. No joke. You have to be more patient, less trades, right? A little bit less trades if you trade only highs and lows. If I was going to add a second setup, I'd probably go VWAP, and I'd pretty much forget everything else. Those are the ones I would concentrate on. I think they offer the best opportunity for profit. All right. Who traded oil? Who traded oil? Anybody? Chantal, I know you traded. RD, you don't have the new software yet, so you can't. You have to wait for the new version. All right? It's not out yet. You have to do it as a custom level. New version is coming. I'm testing it. I'm testing it still. It's a much bigger upgrade, and I'm adding one more super important item to the trade. It's going to make it really worth using. If all you want to trade is magnets only, I need to add one thing to it to make it a full-blown, proper standalone system. And I think the programmer can do it in an hour. It shouldn't slow things down. He should be able to do it while we're fixing all the issues that I find in my testing. So it's not going to slow things down. And very honestly, what it was not even my idea. I can't believe I didn't think of it. But what's the most common thing we do with a magnet? What's the most common thing we do with every screen, every trade? You have to have a reverse continuation on every setup. So it needs to have that ability. Then it's a complete system. Now, see, he's fixing. It's funny now, my signals are working. My signals were not working. They're not working reliably. See, this gave us a great aftershock reversal signal. I don't know if it's great yet. We don't know if it's great yet, but it's a proper signal. Made a new low, momentum changed, signals generated. You are fighting bearishness. It's something to remember. Fighting bearishness. So, why am I leaving on at the moment? Just watching it now. Just watching it. Hang on, folks. I have to make a note. It's really important. James, I'll answer that in 1 second. I know it really, it doesn't matter, and I'll explain why it doesn't matter. You're going to move, that line is going to get moved. Generally, that line, when you type in the custom, that line is the entry. All right. Originally, I started saying use the exit because it's easy to see where the exit's going to be. Understanding you're going to move the line to become your entry. That's why people got confused. But that line you type in is your entry. Okay? That's all. Think of it as the entry. That's the way I'm going to explain it from now on. It is the entry. You're almost always going to move it. Okay? There's a feature called Target One Stop Move. Hang on 1 second. Hang on 1 second. Wait 1 sec. Okay, so almost any trade, there's a command, there's a input on any trade. Almost every trade, there's an input Target One Stop Move. And what that means is if the market hits your first target, move your stop to wherever. And the formatting is if it hits my first target and I want to move my stop to break even, I just say BE. If I want to move my stop to break even plus 4 ticks, You could just put a 4 in, or you could do BE plus 4, okay? You could do BE minus 4, and it'll move your stop to break even minus 4 ticks before it would get to break even, okay? And you can also trail your stops. Trailing stop mode on, and you could start to trail if target 1 or target 2 are hit. But if you turn your mode on, tick for tick method is what I like. Number of ticks normally is 1. Every profitable tick, it'll trail 1 tick. You don't do both though. Usually you would do one or the other, trailing or target 1 stop move. Okay, and look what happened with oil. We got out really at the best place. And that was the concern. Putting my chart on the MNQ, MNQ 0326. What the heck? What happened at 8, like 47? What happened at 8:47? I'm not seeing any news at all. Nothing. Nothing. And we are streaming. So if you're out there watching us, say hello. Nobody ever says a word. If they're watching us on a stream, just say hey, somebody. So no magnet at the moment on the MNQ, but usually we don't do magnets on the morning MNQ. YM, I don't think I have a YM open trade. I already took my magnet on the YM at the moment. You know, maybe it's going to continue down to S2. I don't like S2. I don't think it's that strong of a magnet. All right. I can watch my signals. I can watch my signals on the YM. Sometimes the buttons are wonky in Ninja. It can be frustrating. Right now I'm just watching signals on the YM. I'm not taking anything on the YM. MNQ 326. I like the PP. PP and V and PP is it. PP is the only one I like really. And then I love low of day, high of day, and I love VWAPs. R1, R2, R3. They're magnets, but I don't. There's enough to do without them. I think there's enough trades without them. MNQ, setting up a reverse continue like we always do. Right click strategy, click news trader, change it to a reverse continue. Couple of contracts. Forty tick target. I always use, this is micros, 75 tick stop. And again, usually I just trade the breakout on the market open on the MNQ. My reverse continue is a couple of contracts, 40 tick target, 75 tick stop. And I'm trading it in my funded MNQ open account, labeling it MNQ. reverse continue, apply it, okay it, turn it on. All right. And I'm going to put my charts on sim for a minute because I'm going to test the bracket on the next setup. Our next setup, I'm adding setup number 2 to my MNQ chart, is our MNQ breakout. I'm going to load my template, MNQ open, new open is what we call it. MNQ new open, it's dated a couple of days ago. Right click, I'm going to change the date, rename it. Today's the 29th. Load it, also saves it. And now here's our breakout trade. All right, it's a breakout. Activate 929.59, bracket of 40. The market's not that volatile. We are quite bearish though. 929.59 on the trigger, bracket of 40. The amount of contracts you trade is your decision, honestly. Keep that in mind. Risk is up to you, not to be copied by what I do. Targets, I'm going to use 30 and 70 today. You never know. Target one stop move. I move my stop to break even if my first target gets hit. And I use a 125 tick stop on the market open. One more time. Breakout trade. 929.59 on the trigger. Bracket of 40 at the moment. I use a two position trade. Target of 30 on target 1, target of 70 on target 2.
Down over 3%.
Target 1 stop move is a BE break even.
Over almost 10% as well.
And 125 tick stop. I'm going to label it. Breakout MNQ open. Right now it's on sim. I'm going to set the time to 0 to check the bracket, the width. How wide is the bracket? Just for trade management. And I'm going to turn off our horizontal line, right? Under optional. Show vertical line, not horizontal, vertical line. Unchecking it because it annoys me. Now when I turn on a 0 time trade, the software thinks time has passed, so it'll put our bracket on.
Order submitted.
There's our bracket, and it's manageable. It's not too narrow, not too wide.
Order canceled.
Looks good for a market open. You probably should be ready to get your R trader going in case you get a situation of frozen orders, right? These are the kind of markets where you can get frozen orders, right? They are the kind of markets you can get frozen orders. It's possible. I'm not planning on it, but it's something to be aware of. That means you might want to have your R trader loaded or certainly ready to rock. Now I'm going to go back to strategy, change my time back to the normal activation time, 9:29:59 Eastern time. We have a 40 bracket, targets of 30 and 70, a stop of 125, breakout if we hit the first target, putting the account in my market open, funded account. All right, apply it, okay it, put my chart trader on that same account, and turn it on. Isn't there a way, somebody knows, I always forget, to save the format of the control center so that my account display name is wider as the default? I don't know how to save. That's something I don't know how to do in NinjaTrader. Francis, you probably know. How does RTrader help with the freeze issue? Usually it's not, orders are not frozen in RTrader RD. It's a Ninja Rhythmic, seems to be a Ninja Rhythmic issue, and you can manage your orders in RTrader. So you don't, if you're in a winning trade and your Ninja is frozen, you can exit with RTrader and keep your trade as a winner instead of being a victim of frozen orders and just waiting to see what happens. And it doesn't, that way you could make sure no orders are left hanging. If RTrader is freezing also, then generally the prop account company will take care of that. But they won't do anything about anything if it is a Ninja data rhythmic platform freezing issue. Basically, no one likes to take responsibility for frozen orders. No one even talks about it. I've never seen another company talk about it. Now, I don't watch all that much stuff from other companies, so maybe they are talking about it. I just haven't seen it. But it does happen, and we're not going to lie about it, right? It happens. So now we're just waiting to see if we get a normal open this morning. I mean, oil was pretty normal. Excuse me. Oil was not that different from a regular oil open today. All right, so we've got a couple of minutes before the open. I don't really see a YM open trade unless you have a YM. Some of you use a YM range trade at the open. I like looking for magnets on the YM. So I got my first magnet and I'm just that's my trade. If there's a huge, if there's a big move in the YM, we can put another magnet on for a test of a different level. But right now I'm just not seeing anything at the moment. Really, Francis, never? I've had frozen orders with cash, but not anywhere near the frequency that prop accounts do it. Nowhere near. But I've had some over the years. Not a lot, but enough that it wouldn't surprise me. I'm surprised it's never happened to you. Look at the MNQ. I don't have signals on, but the MNQ was a perfect aftershock reversal, and the signal was at 920. 920. There was a really good
1 minute
signal.
now until we get the market on open imbalance.
I guess you can only concentrate on so many things at once. That was a great reversal. So I'm just watching. I don't have anything going on the YM. So we'll see if we get a normal market open on the MNQ.
10 seconds.
Order submitted. Order submitted. Order filled.
Market on open imbalance.
I
S&P
tried to
500,
expand my
600,
target to the
1 million. Nasdaq
downside,
100, buy side 5 million.
trailing,
30, sell side 12 million.
trailing down.
7, buy side 2
I
million.
brought my target to the low of the day and I'm trailing towards it. Trailing towards it. It'll probably
Order
take me
filled.
out. Not a bad micro trade. Not a bad micro trade. YM burst to the upside. YM burst to the upside. Now, I would not trade on version 6 or 7 anymore. So not a bad micro trade. I thought it would get back down to the low. It probably will. I think it probably will. Not bad. Not bad. You had to be pretty quick to move the target. Sometimes you got to be really quick to move your target. It's something you want to always think about. Always think about expanding your target. Always. You know, if you have a certain fixed target, I'm turning off my breakout MNQ. I don't need it. I'm not going to run it again. The YM, it did the VWAP test. Aren't we sorry we didn't put the VWAP back on? YM surprised me in the size of its move. And look, it got it got a long signal. It got an aftershock. I wouldn't call that the correct aftershock signal was this first blue signal before the open. That was actually the YM. And that signal you wouldn't have taken because it was before the open. Then I suppose this second signal, it only would have worked. No, it would have worked on high of day, low of day. Okay. So there was a second signal. Yeah, that's what I mean. I would not use 6 and 7. I would not use 6 and 7. They're not supported anymore. So should you have a terrible problem too, they wouldn't support it. They would just say, hey, what are you, crazy? Why are you using that? All right. We had 3 out of 3 winners this morning, everyone. 3 out of 3 winners. YM Magnet, small winner. Oil, nice $1.50 winner. And a nice micro winner on the MNQ Open. Not bad. Oh, that VWAP test. That was the trade. That was the best trade of the morning. Like I said, it's really hard to keep track of all the possibilities at the open. You gotta, you make a decision. What am I going to concentrate on? And you try to practice concentrating on more than one thing, obviously. But now the new version has a system where, so we got a signal, you could enter using the ARS Enter Now button after you get a signal. But it doesn't stay on forever. Okay? But that was a really good VWAP test. And I like the VWAP, but it might have been helped. Nah, I'm not going to. You got the VWAP, then right above it, you got the PP. It went right to the PP, which is fascinating. It went literally right to the PP. It literally touched it. and then reversed. And there was a signal for the reversal. It's in the right place, but it's not a great reversal at the moment. It's not a great reversal. Very nice, Nitin. Nice. So, Nitin, what do you have? Silver and then Q. Fairly normal behaving open, it looked like to me this morning. So we'll do tomorrow, okay? I'm definitely not going to do the 2 p.m. room, okay? Not going to do the 2 p.m. room. All right, folks. I want to thank everyone on the stream. So we're done streaming. Thank you for joining us. Let me close out our stream. And I do believe we'll be streaming tomorrow morning at the same time. Look at the MNQ.